Well, they denied the coverage that we are.
You're appealing it. You're appealing the denial. City manager?
Well, they did give me one sleeping pill. And I said, well, doesn't that kind of, counteract what you're trying to find out? Like, no, because if you wake up during the study, that affects the data that you're trying to see. So we need you to stay asleep. I said, well, then you better give me a pill because that's the problem.
He's been having trouble sleeping. No one's
I took it once, and I had the most tremendous nightmare in my life. I freeze about away. It's a non-toxic.
I know it. He's not calling you a cat.
Just need you for 1 minute.
Yes, sir. We'll call to order the City of Douglasville's legislative work session for tonight, which is July the 30th. We'll have our invocation by Reverend Dr. Edwin Jones of Bright Star United Methodist Church, and he will be giving our invocation online. And then we'll have our Mayor Pro Tem do our Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the invocation.
Reverend Jones, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, we're ready.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I hope all is well with you and with your families. Will you join me for a moment of prayer? Gracious God, once again we turn to you with praise and thanksgiving for Congressman John Lewis, for his life, his leadership, and his legacy. And we pray that we may continue to follow in his footsteps. Be with our mayor and with our city officials as they meet this evening. Give unto them the wisdom, the guidance, the strength that they need to do what they need to do to lead and to deliberate and to grow and advance and enhance the life of this great city. Be with all of our citizens and bless us as we continue to do what we need to do as a community, keep us safe, and continue to empower us by your presence and your spirit. We ask it in your name and for our sakes, with thanksgiving in our hearts. Amen. And now if we can do the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Pastor Jones, for praying for us, the invocation, and mentioning Congressman John Lewis, as we will have a proclamation for him this evening. And thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for the pledge. So our announcements and presentations, we'll have a presentation first by myself that declaring August the 11th, 2020 as 8/11 Day in the City of Douglasville to representatives of the Douglas County Utilities Coordinating Committee in Georgia, E811. I keep saying E811. Is there anyone here to receive the proclamation? If not, oh, thank you so much, Ms. Williams. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas on July 17th, 2020, our world's lost a courageous, oh, I apologize, that's the wrong one.
Madam Mayor, excuse me, you're reading the August 11th. Just wanted to let you know that Mr. Penniman is en route, but you can just go ahead if you'd like.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, whereas thousands of times each year, the underground infrastructure in Georgia is damaged by those who do not have underground lines located prior to digging, resulting in service interruptions, environmental damage, and threat to public safety. And whereas in 2005, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, designated 811 to provide contractors and homeowners a simple number to contact utility operators to request the location of underground lines at the intended dig site. And whereas the Douglas County Utility Coordinating Committee, a stakeholder-driven organization dedicated to the prevention of damage to underground utilities in Georgia, promotes the National 811 notification system in an effort to reduce these damages. And whereas damage prevention is shared responsibility by using safe digging practices, the contractors and homeowners of Douglasville can save time, money, and help keep our infrastructure safe and connected. And now, therefore, I, Rochelle Robinson, Mayor of the City of Douglasville, do hereby proclaim on behalf of the City of Douglasville the month of August 2020 as the City of Douglasville Safe Digging Month, and encourage contractors and homeowners throughout the City of Douglasville to always call 811 before digging. Safe digging is no accident. So proclaimed this 30th day of July 2020. Ms. Patrice, you have anything?
No, ma'am. I would just like to add thank you for the proclamation, and I will be sure to forward to the committees.
Thank you so much. This doesn't account for like gardens and stuff. This is just
No.
utility digging.
Utilities primarily.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Ms. Patrice. Now we do have a proclamation to recognize Congressman John Lewis. Today was his service. It was such a moving experience to watch the service on television and how the nation has been recognizing Congressman Lewis, and the procession that started in Alabama and Washington, D.C., and now in Georgia, his home state, as he served. And just a point of personal privilege, I'll say that I've met Congressman Lewis, and several of us have met him before, and I've never taken a picture, which is really strange. But I think it's because he's so humble and so gracious, and I just felt like I was intruding upon him, but he's always ready to take a picture. And the last time I saw him was in the plane on a flight coming from D.C. We went to the Chamber fly-in last year in September, and he was sitting there, and he was so nice and gracious, and I kept wondering while we were walking through why everyone was stopping. You know, when you're in line and you're trying to sit down, and I was thinking, why are these people stopping? I'm trying to get to my seat. And when I finally got to the area, I saw him sitting there. He greeted every last person that walked in. And so I looked at him and I just stared like, oh my gosh, it's Congressman Lewis. And so I spoke to him, and he said, someone said mayor or something, and he said, where are you the mayor? And I said, Douglasville. And he tried to remember, I knew he didn't remember me, but he said, I'm really proud of you. And he asked for my card, and I gave him my card. And then I told him that I thanked him for, you know, being a civil rights leader and all the things he's done for us. And he kissed my hand and said that I was what dreams are made of, and that's why he marched, so that, you know, people can serve. And so I just thought that was just indicative of his personality and how he greeted everyone on the plane and took time to talk to people. And he didn't have to say that. That was really nice. And I know we all have stories. So after I read the proclamation, if you'd like to share, you can. I think it would be appropriate. And this is from Office of the Mayor, a proclamation. Whereas on July 17th, 2020, our world lost a courageous leader and American hero in Congressman John Lewis. And whereas Congressman Lewis dedicated his life to proclaiming and protecting human rights, civil liberties, and was dedicated to the highest moral principles and ethical standards. And whereas Congressman Lewis is well known for challenging segregation and bigotry by organizing peaceful demonstrations, and was recognized as one of the big six leaders of the civil rights movement in the 1960s. And while in his 20s, and whereas John Lewis not only represented Georgia's 5th District, but embodied all those who stand for equality, justice, love, and compassion. And whereas the leadership Congressman John Lewis demonstrated each day of his life will be sorely missed, we must continue his commitment to equality, justice, and freedom for all. And now, therefore, I, Rochelle Robinson, Mayor of the City of Douglasville, and on behalf of the Douglasville City Council and employees of the city, do hereby recognize Congressman John Lewis's esteemed service and contributions to our society, but also mourn the loss of a great leader and a great American hero. Proclaim this day July 30th, 2020. So I know our flags have been at half-staff until after today for his service, and President Trump asked for us to lower the flags, and then our Governor Kemp asked us in the cities in the state of Georgia to lower the flags as well. Does anyone want to say anything? I know that several of us have met him, and I'll go ladies first with Dr. LaShawn Bojanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you so much, Mayor and Council, and Mayor, for writing the resolution in honor of the late Representative John Lewis. Councilman Davis and I were in D.C. once, and I had an opportunity to meet him on one occasion. He is very, very humble and studious, I'd say young man. And just what he has left to us, and something I can carry on to my children and my grandchildren, is that it's okay to get in good trouble. That's what
right.
I remember. And the service today was very profound, speechless. It was very, very nice. Thank you.
It was beautiful. You're welcome. Mayor Pro Tem, did you want to say something? It looked like you wanted to.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
I too had the good fortune of meeting Mr. Lewis a number of years ago. When I first got involved in politics here in Douglasville, when he came out here. And I think one of the proudest pictures I have is a picture of him with my kids. And the word is right, humility. I mean, he was a man of humility. It's amazing. And the one thing that I learned about that he and the rest of the folks who trained under the nonviolence movement was, you saw this horrible pictures of him getting beaten when he tried to march across the bridge in Selma. And it wasn't they weren't just simply trained not to fight back. That was only part of it. They were trained not to even respond. But can you imagine yourself somebody beating you with a club and not even to raise your arm to stop it?
Wow.
They were not even allowed to do that. They were just simply there to take it, to put their bodies on the line. And how many of us could say that we could do the same thing? You know. Anyway, it was an honor to meet the man.
Very good. Thank you so much. If we don't have any other tributes.
I have one, Madam Mayor.
I apologize. Yes, sir. I want to leave you out, Councilman Davis.
That's okay. I've been around a long time. And my greatest experience is running into Minister Lewis and Reverend Abernathy Jr. At Gumbo's over there eating that spicy stuff, as he said. So they used to love to come to Gumbo's. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And he was a minister. He went to seminary. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now we will move on. I'll do that was the presentations, and I'll do the announcements for our meeting, and then we can move on with the agenda as presented and printed. I'd like to welcome you again to the City of Douglasville's legislative work session. I'm Douglasville's Mayor Rochelle Robinson. Today's meeting is being conducted in whole or in part by teleconference. Some or all of our elected officials, in this case all of our elected officials, are here in person, but some of the individuals that wanted to present, like our invocation, will do so during the public hearing and comments from citizens via Zoom software. The open meeting for the Douglasville Mayor and Council is being conducted by teleconference consistent with the official code of Georgia annotated section 50-14-1G due to emergency conditions involving public safety in order to mitigate the transmission of the coronavirus and reduce the risk of COVID-19 illness. That code section, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows local governments to meet in whole or partially by teleconference in the event of an emergency, so long as means are afforded for the public to have simultaneous access to the teleconference meeting. For this meeting, we're convening partially by Zoom software as shown on the city's website, describing how the public may join, which is via YouTube media platform. This is a work session where agenda items are presented for discussion only, and no official action will be taken tonight. Official action will be taken on these agenda items on Monday. If the business you are here for is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda item comments from citizens and delegates section for you to discuss your business that's germane to the City of Douglasville. Just a few more protocol issues, and then we'll move on with our meeting. I ask that you would keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair of those committees to be of a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You'll receive warning from the chair for the first time if you deviate from that requirement. The second deviation will ask that you will leave the chambers and the premises for the evening. Only one person speaking at a time, of course. Please do not applaud or react to the speakers. Speak from the audience, cheer, carry on a conversation with others in the audience while you are speaking to us at the podium. I'll remind you that we are only required to accept public comments during the required public hearings, and we are not required to accept public comments on any other items before this council unless you're talking for citizens and delegates at the end. If you have a cell phone or other electronic devices, I'll ask that you would either power those off or put those in silent mode so they will not be disruptive this evening. Now, this is how the agenda items will be handled. The committee chairperson will read the agenda item. Then the person or representing that agenda item or applicant will make his or her presentation. And we will possibly ask for additional information, myself and council members, to help us make our decision on Monday. After that, committee chair will ask for comments or statements from the audience, and there is a maximum of 20 minutes for those in opposition and 20 minutes for those in favor. And each person, each speaker has 5 minutes unless there are a lot of people that want to represent that 20 minutes. You can divide your time up 3 minutes or so, but in total, you have 20 minutes per side. Prior to approaching the podium, please give your card to the city clerk, Ms. Vicki Acker, to my right in the back. State your name and address for the record when you come forward, and minors are not permitted or don't have to give their home address, just adults. Each person has one opportunity to speak, and this meeting is not a question and answer format. It's not a debate format. We're just here to receive information from you. Please give your comments to the chair, not to the members of the audience or the applicant or city staff. Just please talk to the chair when you're presenting yourself at the podium. In our policy for printed information is that you please submit that to our city clerk in advance and not to hand those out to the council members. We'd appreciate that. So those are the rules for the meeting tonight, and we will move on now with the agenda as it is printed. Our first committee is Economic Development Committee, and that's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Economic Development Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll move on then to item number 6, which is Finance Committee, and that's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have
Welcome.
tonight under Finance 3 items. First item is to authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Ronnie Odom for auctioneer services for the city's proposed auction October 3rd, 2020. This is item 20-306. I see Captain Deming coming forward to help us to go over that particular item. Thank you, Captain Deming.
Tommy Deming, 2083 Fairburn Road. As you know, y'all seen my emails come out about the auction. We've got it scheduled for October 3rd at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be pretty big. We're looking at probably 260, 270 items. We've got almost 40 vehicles to go. I just want to thank all the department heads for stepping up and helping out with this thing, especially Parks and Public Service. They gave us quite a bit of stuff, so I think it's going to benefit us. It looks like the time of year and everything ought to work out well for us. So.
Thank you, Captain Deming. Questions of the captain? Yes, Madam Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Captain Deming, for coming in and talking to us about the auction that we have every year. The auctioneer services, is it the same gentleman that we had before, Ronnie Odom? Is he the same?
Yes, ma'am. It is Ronnie Odom. It's RJO Auction Services. He's done it. This will be his 3rd year. He's sitting back here. If y'all, I think most of everybody has met him. There may be a couple that
Yes, sir.
have
We
not.
have a new council member, Councilman Estes.
I'm sorry.
We have a new council member from Tributary, Councilman Estes. So
So he like I say, he's been with us this will be his 3rd year. So we like him a lot. So that's why we want to just stick with him. He does as well. He cleans up our stuff. Anything that's got any that's been sitting for a while, to try to get us the most out of it that we can.
He's like the Antiques Road Show.
I'm
He
sorry.
gets he's like Antiques Road Show. He gets everything real pretty and gives us a.
He works some magic on some of that stuff.
Yes, sir.
It looks pretty rough, but he gets it straightened out for us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Other questions, comments? This will be our third annual with Mr. Odom, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you say there are 250 plus items in the auction? Good. Look forward to it, October the 3rd. If there's no objection, I would like to place this on the consent agenda for Monday. Thank you. Appreciate it, Captain. Appreciate what you're doing. Yes, sir. Item B, authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with FivePoint Payments LLC for electronic payment services for the Court Services Department. Ms. Angie Cochran is going to come forward and give us information on that item 20-315.
Cochran, Court Service Administrator, 2083 Fairburn Road. This is an agreement with FivePoint Payments LLC to take over our credit card processing. They have agreed to lower our rate from 4.5 to 4%, and they are also going to provide us with a little portable kiosk that we can use in court, so we can get people in there to pay at instead of having a big line at the window. Hopefully it'll cut that down some.
That's great.
Like a portable point of sale.
Yes, we're
Okay.
excited about it.
So we're saving money for those folks that are using the service.
Yes.
Do we have anyone that has any experience with 5 Points? Was there a problem with our previous? What's going on there?
I haven't heard anybody have any problems. Everybody that uses them in other cities have had good service with them. They're also going to offer us 24-hour service, unlike the company we use now. They only offer us up until like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So a lot of times at court when we have issues, we can't get anybody to help us. So we have to make people come back to make a payment.
So there you are in court after 5 o'clock trying to finish, and the previous company has cut off service at 5?
Yes.
Okay, good move. Questions, comments? Anyone? Sounds like you're taking care of that, and thank you very much, Angie. We appreciate that. Any reason why we should not put Ms. Cochran's item on the consent agenda for Monday? Saving us money. Thank you. I would request that. Thank you very much. Last item C, authorize the mayor to sign a grant agreement with the state of Georgia concerning the Coronavirus Relief Fund grant. Ms. Hampton and Ms. Emily Hardaway are going to help us with that item, 20-331.
Yes, sir. This is the CARES Act funding that is being provided to municipalities and counties from the state of Georgia. This is what I mentioned to you in your committee meetings by the mayor signing this information on a Monday. You all giving her that authorization. It begins for those funds. It begins the start date for those funds to be released to us for us to use for COVID related items.
Thank you, Ms. Hampton, and I appreciate again the work that staff is doing to prepare that list for us on Monday. I don't think that it will matter whether what the amount is on Monday. We still need the mayor to sign this document in order to be able to go forward, and whatever that amount might be. But are there questions or comments that would be an extension of what we had discussed in our committee meetings? Seeing none, I'm going to ask that this be placed on the consent agenda, Madam Mayor.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much, and that's all that we have under finance tonight.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Well done. We'll move on to Housing and Community Affairs Committee, and that's chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I do not have any written items under Housing and Community Affairs, but I do have a question, and I can direct this either to Ms. Hampton or Ms. Littlefield. My question is, I'm assuming you all received an email from a concerned citizen in regards to the moratorium, a national moratorium that will end evictions for homeowners. And I wanted to just see, I know, Madam Mayor, you are on the Water and Sewer Authority. Does that also end with you all on this week?
We've extended cutoffs for the Water and Sewer Authority. Madam Chair and I met with Gil Sherrouse on Tuesday, as well as Georgia Power and Greystone. I believe those two as well.
I wanted to see, as it relates to evictions during this pandemic, with the courthouse being closed the way it is, and I've had some individuals who have contacted me that have not been able to answer at the court. Is there anything we can do as far as extending it in our local level? I'm not sure how that plays out, Ms. Littlefield.
Councilmember, I'll be glad to research it for you, but as you know, evictions are essentially a county function and county court's function, them and the sheriff's department, and I'll tell you that I doubt that there's anything that we can do about it, but I'd be glad to look at it and get you an answer.
Thank you. No other questions, and there are no items under housing. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Chairwoman. We'll move on to Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I have one item. It's adopt a resolution condemning racism and affirming the city commitment to civil rights for all. And I hope everyone had a chance to go over the resolution. I call on Chelsea to Ms. Marsha Hampton.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Chelsea Jackson, 6695 Church Street. As you all recall, a couple of weeks ago, we did have a request from a citizen, Mr. Brandon Penniman, and he is here today, and he presented a resolution. I did speak with legal, and the city has never done a joint resolution. If you read the resolution that was presented to us a couple of weeks ago, it was a joint resolution between the organization and the city. So legally, legal did advise that it may not be in the best interest of the city to do a joint resolution, but to do a resolution that a lot of other cities have been doing around the metro area and around the country to condemn racism. I did speak with Mr. Penniman. We did make the resolution a little bit more personable as it relates to Douglasville, relating to some of the marches that we've had over the past few months. So this is the one that staff and legal is recommending to council to approve today or on Monday.
Thank you, Chelsea. Madam Mayor?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, staff, and thank you, Mr. Penniman, for the work you're doing in the community and bringing to our attention an opportunity to show our solidarity. And if you don't mind, Councilman, I'd like to read it. Or no?
Yes.
Can I read it? Or you want us to wait till I adopt it on Monday?
Have everyone read it yet?
Everyone had an opportunity to read it. I can still read it. Well, it's up to the chairman. I'm not going to step on his toes. If he said don't read it until Monday, I'll wait.
Go ahead and read it, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Whereas the City of Douglasville, its mayor and city council, chief of police, entire Douglasville Police Department, and employees citywide are deeply saddened by the tragic events that have recently occurred across the country, and Douglasville citizens have gathered peacefully in the past few months in opposition to racism in any form, anywhere it exists, reaffirming that people of all races, ethnicities, cultures, and faiths contribute to Douglasville's strength and well-being. And whereas racism, prejudice, and hate have no place in our city, we will continue to encourage an inclusive community built on trust and dedication to stand up against all forms of racism. We will continue to ensure the constitutional rights of every person who lives, works, and visits our great city. And whereas the Douglasville Police Department has long been a diverse department that has a reputation for employing men and women of the highest ethical standards that understand and are taught the importance of equal treatment to every citizen and business owner. And whereas Douglasville Police Department is state accredited and our officers annually receive training that exceed the required training by the state of Georgia. And whereas the men and women of Douglasville Police Department appreciate the overwhelming support from our great community and hereby promises to protect, serve, and exceed the expectation of honesty, transparency, and fair treatment to all citizens. Therefore, it be resolved that the mayor and city council and all employees of the city of Douglasville, Georgia, do hereby stand steadfast with all citizens of Douglasville against racism and continue our commitment to stand for the racial justice and support the civil rights for all.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Anyone else?
Preach. Yes, sir.
Amen.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor. So we'll put it on the agenda for Monday.
Yes, sir. We have
Thank you.
Mr. Penniman. Do you want to say anything?
Brandon Penniman, 1082 Abington Court, Douglasville, Georgia, 30134. First off, I would like to say thank you for your consideration and for actually taking a step to create a resolution of your own. That is a major step for our city, and we truly appreciate it. We are going to do our part to continue to take action steps, and we hope that as the resolution reads, that you guys will continue to support us in those action steps and continue to stand behind us as we continue to fight for equality within this community. So once again, just want to thank you on behalf of Fit for the Future and Black Diamonds and the entire community. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Mr. Pittman, I'll come back to the podium for a second. I wanted to publicly apologize to you. I know that you sent me some information to attend an event, and I was trying to text Madam Chair to see if she can go because I couldn't go. I had a previous appointment, and I said, Brandon is doing too much. And so I apologize for that. I was really, and I did explain to you, I said, I was trying to see, you can't tell me the night before, but I apologize if I offended you. I didn't mean to say in too much in that you're doing too much in the community. It was like, I can't come with, a 12 or 10 hour time frame. So I just wanted to say that publicly.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. And once again, to all the councilmen, thank you guys so much for all you're doing for our community.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all you had? You're welcome. We'll move on to Personnel and Organization Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in Personnel and Organization.
Thank you, sir. Planning and Development Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have one item tonight under Planning and Development. It was tabled July 6, 2020. Consider a request for plat approval for D.R. Horton for the purpose of subdividing into 67 tracts, 24.25 acres in land lot 155, District 1, parcels 396 to 462. Application by Jeff Wilkerson of LaCroix Engineering, Ms. Patrice Williams and Ms. Michelle McCauley of LaCroix Engineering are available here to help us. Item 20-291.
Patrice Williams, Community Development Director, 6701 Church Street. As Councilman Adams said, this item was tabled at our July 6th meeting at the request of the applicant. Staff has reviewed the item again, and we do recommend approval for this preliminary plat.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. So obviously the developer has come forward again and now wants to have this item considered for approval, and I'm assuming this would be Ms. McCauley coming forward.
Good evening.
Good
I'm
evening.
Michelle McCauley. I work with LaCroix Engineering. We're located at 3475 Corporate Way in Duluth, Georgia. I'm here representing D.R. Horton, who is the developer and who is requesting this plat. There was some miscommunication between your July 2nd and your July 6th meeting, so that's when we came forward and asked for it to be tabled. That misunderstanding has all been resolved, and so therefore we are back before you tonight asking for your approval.
Nothing different in your application
No,
for the
wasn't
approval
the
on the
same.
final plat? Basically just communication between owner and...
It had to relate to the timing of the application.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Okay.
we got it all together and
Questions?
agreed.
Ms. McCauley, anyone? Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can we be assured that the houses that are going to be built on these, I don't know if you can answer this yet or not, but the houses that are going to be built will be the same quality and the same character of the existing houses in Tributary?
Well, I can represent that D.R. Horton, who purchased most of the remaining lots in Tributary from the original master plan, will be continuing that same home product within this. This is an undeveloped section of the original master plan, but it will be the same homes that are being currently built in there now.
Okay. It appears to be from the same density roughly and the same
Right.
setbacks are being used, so.
Everything's exactly, it's part of the master plan and has to meet the requirements of that master plan. It just had never been platted before.
Make sure we don't end up with little Tim Burton houses that are going to pop.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions? All righty. Thank you, Ms. McCauley. We'll take this up on Monday night. Madam Mayor, that's all we have under Planning and Development. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll move on to Public Improvement and Beautification Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business this evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Public Relations Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No business this evening.
Thank you, sir. Public Safety Committee, chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
No items at this time, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Recreation, Culture, and Tourism Committee, that's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
We have one item tonight, Adopt an ordinance to amend sections 2-341 and 2-342 of the administration ordinance to revise agency references and job titles concerning the Convention and Visitors Bureau Advisory Board. And Ms. Rosado.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Samantha Rosado, Tourism Program Manager, 12385 Veterans Memorial Highway. In front of you is an administrative ordinance to revise the agency references and job titles concerning the Douglasville Convention and Visitors Bureau Advisory Board. These recommendations were brought to us by the Georgia Convention and Visitors Bureau when we were awarded the Benchmark of Excellence Bronze certification. I've already presented the amendment to the City Attorney's Office and to Human Resources. Both offices have given us the permission to move forward to bring these in front of you all.
Any questions or comments from Mayor or Council? Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Rosario, if you can say it again a little bit slower, that award we just received. Congratulations.
We received the Benchmark of Excellence Bronze certification, and that was awarded to us by the Georgia Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Okay, thank you so much. Congratulations for that. I wanted the audience to hear you say that. You're doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ma'am, any other questions or comments from council? I'd like to place this on the consent agenda for Monday. Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's all we had tonight under Recreation, Culture, and Tourism.
Thank you so much, Coach. We'll move on to Technology Committee. That's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Technology Committee at this time.
Thank you, sir. Transportation Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One item is to adopt a resolution to rename Doris Road from Hospital Drive to Jurley Lane to become Cindy W. Chafin Boulevard. I did have someone call me and ask in regards to how is the process, and just to the best of my knowledge, I stated that the family members came and presented, and it's been about a month ago, if I'm not mistaken, and the Mayor and Council looked at it carefully, and we didn't have any opposition. I wanted to ask the council members, were there any opposition? It wasn't any opposition for myself. No? All right. Then if there aren't, I'd like to place this on the consent agenda. All right, consent agenda it is. Madam Mayor, there are no other items under transportation.
I do have a question.
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
we've gotten some requests for to name streets currently, some current streets that we're in the process of, more specifically Highway 92. And so with this renaming of the street, the person is deceased. So I'm not certain if that was a criteria or if because there are some streets where prominent figures, have had their streets named after them. Not just MLK, but other streets like Ralph Abernathy, Dr. Lowry. And so if we do not have a criteria, if we could come up with one, so that when some of the streets are turned over to us, that we have a benchmark and it's a fair process to have a street renamed. I know we at our what we had in February, a retreat. Well, not a retreat. We're told not to name it a retreat. Our work session that we had this past February before COVID-19, we talked about once Fairburn Road is done and Highway 92, some of the names that were given and recommended from staff and from the council members, but I'm not certain if we wanted to open it up to the public or we were just going to take that mandate to rename the street.
Well, from my understanding, the Highway 92 is a state highway at this point, so the proper protocol would be that to go through legislation. Is that correct, Ms. Hampton?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay.
Okay.
So does that answer your question? Or
It
just in
does, because
general?
I've been getting calls and texts and emails about giving recommendations I probably have about 10 names. So I don't know, and if it stays, I know there are in other cities, it could be Highway 92 and they would say old Highway 92, or just keep it the same so that all those residents and businesses will not have to change the name of their street, or if we were to change or have renaming of the street, just a process for us to do that rather than we vote on all 10 names, or however we want to do it, but we need to have a process to make it
Sure.
fair.
The first process, obviously, is to go through the legislation. And Ms. Hampton and I, a while back, had some just conversation in regards to protocol. And again, she referenced me to our legislators. So I think that would be the first step. And, you know, all means, I'm always open to the community being involved as well, and then go from there. So I'm sure that Ms. Hampton and I can get together and make sure that we're following protocol.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Madam Chair, just realizing, of course, that as the state highway designation is moved from one to the other, when this comes about, then we will be tasked with naming some of the streets that then come off state highway designation, and we'll have the opportunity to do that at that time also.
Right. Yes, I think this is perfect timing. Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
There are no other items under transportation, and the item that I read earlier will be on the consent agenda for Monday night.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have any other business to come before council this evening from council members? No? Well, I have just a few. I wanted to thank the Young Chamber of Commerce. What's the acronym, Mr. Aaron? The council, that we participated in yesterday?
AMP. A-M-P, right, AMP.
Could you spell it out for me?
A-M-P, is it an E-D?
What does it mean, like CDC?
A-M-P apostrophe D, AMP.
So what does this stand for, Mr. Aaron? Advancing Modern Professionals in Douglas. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for the opportunity to participate in that conversation with some of our emerging leaders, and that are leaders now that are young with the Chamber of Commerce. And Council Member Estes, I appreciate you participating in that. And there were probably 8 or 10 elected officials, so I wanted to thank them for doing that as well. Senator Dugan, Representative Bruce, Representative Bodie, Representative Alexander, Madam Chair, myself, 2 school board members, Vice Chair Michelle Simmons, Mr. Jackson, D.T. Jackson, and Council Commissioner Kelly Robinson. So it was a great conversation. So thank you, Councilman Estes, for representing the City Council. For the citizens, recycling will resume September the 14th. We've had a lot of conversation about that. We appreciate staff, Mr. Roberts and his team, working to get us to a point where we can start recycling again in the city of Douglasville. Of course, we had to put it on hold because of COVID-19, but it will resume September the 14th. Madam Chair called me on the way here to give me an announcement that she said she was free to say. The official announcement will come out later, but we have been approved in Douglasville, Douglas County for driver services. And so we really appreciate Senator Mike Dugan for helping us to get that done. They are trying to locate 3 acres to have driver services. So it'll be a full, you can have your license renewed, all of that, not just to have those tests done for 18-wheeler, so. And testing and everything. Yes, sir. So they need 3 acres for testing. They did look at, she told me they were looking by the transportation area near Doris Road, but the topography was not conducive. So they're still looking for an area, and she wanted us to explore. That's why she called and asked me to ask the council to look in your wards and for us to try to identify 3 acres so that they can move driver services and have that facility in the city. That will be the city and county for Douglasville, Douglas County. And I receive periodically information or some concerns about our homeless population. I know that we do have some areas, but we're excited that Judge Bo McClain is helping to get the Sanctuary Village off the ground, and so that will be a safe haven for some of the homeless population. Of course, they are retrofitted trailers from the school system, but they're like efficiency apartments, and there are some stipulations for those individuals to live there with job training and trying to get them connected with services. So city manager is giving me, do you want me to say it now or just think about it? Okay. Yeah, we're excited about for the driver services. She's giving me
Staff has sent it
recommendations
to me,
already.
So I'll send it to y'all.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. So those are only announcements that I had. I'm excited about driver services, recycling, and the Sanctuary Village, and Councilman Estes participating on that forum yesterday. So with any other business or announcements from council members? Thank you. Not seeing any, then we'll move on to updates from city staff. Our city attorney, Mr. Dotson, is he here? Now we'll move on to Legal Eagle, our chief assistant city attorney, Ms. Susan Littlefield.
Thank you. No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Our chief of police, our police department, Captain Deming, and
We have no business, Madam Mayor.
thank you so much. Good to see you all. Our city manager, Ms. Marsha Hampton.
No, ma'am, no business.
Okay. Staff reports. Do we have any staff reports? Okay. Now is the time for comments from citizens and delegates, and if you have lasted this entire meeting and you'd like to address us, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes to talk to us about any business that's germane to the City of Douglasville. We don't have any takers, as the Councilman Davis could say. I'm not seeing any, and we don't have any other business to come before council this evening. This meeting is adjourned.